Hey there, Stein with FX3 Multimedia. I trust you guys are doing excellent. Welcome to Color Grading Made Easy. Beginner's Guide. This is session 6. Okay, let's dive straight into Premiere and let's get going. Okay, so I have my footage up. I'm going to just select the scene that I can work on. Okay, cool. Let's stick to this here. All right, so let's just say if you don't want to do any of the stuff that I've been teaching with the layers, one simple way you could do this is you can modify, go to color, override, and pick one of the two options for S-Log3 for Sony, okay? For the purpose of this example, I could pick the first one and it gives me this look. Maybe you don't like that look, then you can decide, all right, I'm not gonna do my conversion there. Let me use my conversion layer and then layer 1 for my conversion and then use another option. So the next option will be use a lot conversion directly from Sony. So you go to your basic correction and then for your input LUT, you can go ahead and pick Sony's original LUTs. Any of these should look good. For example, if you did the neutral S-Log 3, it will look like that. If you did the Cine, it will look like that. All right, for the purpose of us getting a good example, I would say the 709 looks about usable. However, I'm going to use my battery LUTs and stick with the V2 because that gives me the best of both worlds without too much contrast. Cool. So now that you have your conversion LUT there, you can move on with the color grading process. But for now, I'm going to pause and show you guys something. So we're going to come on our original video, and then we are going to go to creative, and we are going to pick one of Phantom LUT's neutral profile. Okay, and here's why I'm teaching you this. Let's just say if you wanted an all-in-one solution without having to go through the whole color grading process, what Phantom has done is they have decided to add your technical LUT and your technical LUT and your creative LUT all together, and now they've made that into one simple LUT pack, and that is what you are seeing here, okay? Or LUT preset, and that's what you're seeing here. So to get this done the right way, even though I have all this dialed up, I'm gonna need to make certain adjustments to make it look good, okay? So basically something like the shadows, the darks is just not looking good for the face. So we're gonna lift it up, okay? So lift the shadows, okay? Once we lift the shadows, we can bring down the contrast by a little bit. And then we can leave the highlights where it is, or we can decide to just bring it down a little bit, okay, based on the feel we want. Okay, and our exposure, we can decide to increase it a little bit if we wanted to. And out of the box, this already look good, okay? Why is it pixelated? Why does it have all these other extras? That's because I haven't done a noise reduction, okay? So if you wanted to, you could do a noise reduction before all these other color grading processing if you want the cleanest look, okay? So we are gonna kind of reset all this because that's not what we're trying to do. And we are not trying to use this workflow. This was just for me to show you a very fast way, okay? So what we're gonna do, let's actually put on a noise reduction for now, and I'm gonna use my need video, okay? And I think I already have one up, but let me delete it and do it again. Okay, prepare, build, and once build, I can auto select or select an area. For the purpose of moving fast, I'm gonna auto select, and actually no, I'm actually gonna select my own, okay, and I'm gonna build a profile. All right, cool. So once I build my profile, it's gonna look like that, and I can dial back as I need, minus 50, minus 40, whatever, get it there. All right, cool. So I'm gonna stick with minus 40. I'm gonna apply, and now we should have a cleaner image. How do we know that? If we were to zoom in, we can see the skin is somewhat smoother, and if we took off the need videos preset, you can see the noise comes back up. You guys see that? Comes back up, it's gone, okay? All right, so that's the only reason why we are doing that. Then the next thing would be to add our correction, okay? So basically, all right, our conversion layer is done. Now we can do our correction, okay? And our correction, I already did it, but I can delete it and just show you guys real quick. Okay, so you guys can tell what I did. So I basically reduced the contrast, decrease the highlights, increase the shadows by a lot. Okay, and pretty much that's what I did there. Okay, so if I was to repeat the process, that's exactly what I was gonna do. So we can kind of just get going with this. The curves, I just added a little bit of curve to just kind of help with some of the points in the image. Okay, and as far as colors, there's a yellow color, I have it boosted. There is a blue color, okay, I have it boosted. And there is a red color of microphone right there, and I have it boosted. Okay, and that's what I've done so far with the curves. And of course, your color wheel, um, the face was going a little bit to the orange, so I decided to um, um, bring it down so it cools down a little bit. And so that's what you're seeing in the shadows and midtones. Okay, all right, so once we're done with that, we can do our VSL secondary just to polish the face and skin tones. I don't have the time for that right now because it takes a while to really get it perfect and that kind of thing. So I'm going to stay away from that for this edit. Okay, and now we would be done at this point, and we need to figure out the next steps. So layer two would have been completed with a correction. Then, if we wanted to add a stylized look or creative look to it, we can now decide what we want. And for now, I have buttery film look one on. Okay, and we can decide, okay, that intensity is a little too much. Let's reduce it by 30, 20, 10, whatever you want. Okay, and so let's just say 20 looks good to us, so we stick with that, and that's pretty much it there. And then let's see here. Okay, so there's a lot of um, overexposure and that kind of thing, but we don't need to worry about that because we are not really we don't even have the greatest shot to work with the right settings of exposure and that kind of thing. Okay, cool. And this is what we have so far with this. And if you wanted to sharpen it a bit more, you could ideally do that by simply adding some sharpen effect and then getting it done. But for the sake of time, we are not going to worry about that because that's not important in the color grading workflow. This is only important if you are trying to add sharpening to your image, and I would do that, but for the sake of moving along smoothly, I'm not going to worry about that with this edit. Okay, so then the next thing that I'll do is I'll go ahead, I'll duplicate the track, and actually I have the track already duplicated, so I can undo that. Okay, and what I'll do is I'll go ahead and okay, I'll take out the fades. I'll go ahead and nest this edited version. Okay, and once I nest the edited version, um, I can go ahead and pull back. Okay, so now I can decide my 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 log footage. I can send that to the left. Okay, all right, perfect. And if I wanted to cut some out, I can cut a little bit out. Okay, all right, and then I could pull back in a little bit more, and then of course I could do that for my main shot. Okay, and I could bring an eye, and now I could bring that in a little bit more. Okay, and basically we'll have this. A couple of things to keep in mind. I'm using the lowest setting of my computer so I can move fast. So you're not going to see the best image. At the same time, I'm using proxy, so you're not going to see the best edit or the best image. Okay, but what I'm doing basically gets us to a certain point. Okay, but it does affect the way we see it and the quality. Okay, all right. So let me make it a big screen. Let's see what we've done. Okay, so our log footage on our left, our edited footage on our right. Okay, and again, this is not perfect. Okay, I don't have it even rendered, nothing like that. Okay, cool. So you guys see that? Very, very nice. All right. Cool. All right. Okay, so we have our log footage, and then we have our corrected footage to the right. Log footage to the left, corrected footage to the right. Okay. And again, if you don't like saturate, you don't want it to be that saturated, you could always tone it down if you wanted to. Again, this is not the best image to use, but hey, it is something we could have fun with just to have an idea. Okay, cool. So that is everything that you need to do to have some good solid color grading. I hope this helped, and I'll see you in the next video. It's time with FX3 Multimedia. You guys remain blessed. Until next time, bye bye.
Thanks for watching.